Friday, friends, and welcome to another episode of Finding God in the Dark. You'll notice right away that I'm not in my studio today, which is really just my office at the church. But and again, recording by myself. Just want to ask you to continue to pray for Pastor Evan. He is still having some issues with some family health and some issues in his church. None of which I'm really aware of, other than just some challenges. So do keep Evan in your prayers, and I guess me as well. It's a time where we're it's been kind of a hectic week, and we're leading up into going into our annual conference. This weekend we start Sunday afternoon, and so a lot of preparation, a lot of stuff to do. So it's been a little hectic. Just trying to get to even something to watch to talk about this week. But I did get to watch something. As much as I would like to talk about the film that I took my son to see, which is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I'm going to save that one because I really want to debrief that one with Evan. There's so much great symbolism and stuff in that film that I don't want to just throw it out there on a lone podcast. I really enjoy it, and I hope you all enjoy the conversations and sort of the give and take between Evan and I about the films that we have watched. Again, we will get to Schindler's List. He is watching it, has watched it. We'll talk about it when we get together, hopefully next week after annual conference is over. But today, I want to talk to you about a series that's in the top, I think it's in the top 10 series right now on Netflix, called Three Body Problem. Now, if you have Netflix, maybe you've seen it and gone, I don't know. Well, I read some about it before, that it was just that they were positive reviews. So I thought, well, why not give it a try? It is an 8-episode miniseries. It's actually the first season of an 8-episode miniseries. It's been renewed for another season already. It's based on a book called The Three Body Problem by a Chinese author whose name I will not attempt to pronounce because I will absolutely butcher it. But the book is part of a trilogy of books, so you can look it up, I'm sure, and find it if you're so interested in reading it. The basic premise of the story or of the series is that there is an alien invasion coming, except that it's a long ways away. And so in that sense, I guess it is sort of this, something like a zombie movie or a plague movie or an end of the world movie. And, how do people relate to one another? How do people cope with the tragedy and what's expected? And there are some strong things in here, scenes of suicide, some violence, some blood and gore, in that sense. So wouldn't necessarily recommend it for children, obviously. Also some very mature themes that I don't think kids would get. It kind of go over their heads. But realistically, I think the big theme that I see in this series begins in the very first scene. In the very first scene, we're taken to a struggle session in Maoist China, where these young students are questioning professors, and it's sort of this anti-academic mindset that came along with Maoism. And this one professor in particular, a physicist, who will not deny Einstein's theory of relativity because they want him to deny it, because if relativity is true, then there is a time before time, and that leaves room for God to exist. And so they want him to deny that because Maoism was atheist. They wanted to replace everything traditional, right? So he does not do that. They spoiler alert, beat him to death. And his daughter is in the crowd watching. She goes on to become a physicist. And she's sort of the catalyst that starts, and I'm not going to give any more away, but the catalyst that starts this whole alien invasion. But the theme here is really, and it kind of runs through the whole 8 episodes that I saw, this idea of, where's the value here? Is there value in this anti-atheist thing, or is there value in religion and even religious zealotry? Because those who know or are communicating with these aliens and think they understand them refer to them as our Lord or the Lord. And there's almost this religious fervor about preparing the world for the aliens and doing what the aliens want you to do, over against kind of the main characters in the story are scientists and are trying to devise a way to preserve the Earth. Now, these aliens aren't going to get here for 400 years, but they're still trying, and so none of these people alive are going to be around for it, but they're still trying to preserve Earth against this invasion. And so there's this really wild balance between these aliens kind of representing faith, and then the faith of the scientists, and is that faith in science or is it in humanity? And the interplay is interesting. Some of the characterizations were not as engaging as I would like. Not, as I've said many times, I'm always looking for a redemption arc. I'm always looking for a transformation story in the characters, and there isn't a whole lot of that. A little bit, but not a whole lot of that in this, at least in the first season of this show. So that's something to think about there. Overall, I enjoyed it, and I think that when when the second season does get made and come out, I'll probably watch it. It'll have to go on my list with season 5 of Stranger Things and the last season of Cobra Kai and whatever else is coming. But anyway, it's something to take a look at, I think, if you're, a person of faith, and just, maybe understand a little bit more about ourselves. Understand a little bit more about ourselves in the light of our faith. And are we zealots for the sake of zealotry, or do we understand Jesus and want to follow Jesus and be a part of that kingdom that Jesus has called us to build? It's at least thought-provoking in that sense. So give it a shot if you're so inclined. If you have Netflix, it is interesting. And like I said, we will be talking about Schindler's List coming up, and on the horizon there, I'm definitely going to get Evan to go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because man, there's so much religious symbolism and just imagery in that film that I think it deserves a discussion. So other than that, folks, hope you're all doing well. Take care and God bless, and keep trying to find God in the dark. Bye now.